Hey everybody, it's Vince from Pueblo, Colorado, and I have a treat for you today. I have the Wind all-wheel drive 2022 Kia EV6. This is an amazing car. I love these cars. This is Kia's first full-fledged EV on their new platform. We've had EVs in the past, but not on our dedicated platform, specifically designed for EVs, which is definitely a treat. This car definitely performs where it needs to perform. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. I do videos. I try to do them once a week. They've been averaging every 2 weeks, just because of lack of inventory and lack of new vehicles. The 2023s are coming out, so I'm going to have a lot more videos hopefully in the coming months. But today I'm going to show you the 2022 EV6 Wind all-wheel drive. So again, like and subscribe if you like what you see. It definitely does help me out. So coming to the front, I really do love the LED lights on this vehicle. I love the daytime running lights on this vehicle right there. If you can see them, they have a nice pattern to them. Definitely very distinguishable when you're on the road. Nothing really like it on the road right now. There is the sister car, the Ioniq 5, but it does look very much different than the Kia EV6. You have Kia's new signature badging right there. That is their script badging that came out in 2022, continued over to 2023. This is a EV, electrical vehicle, so it does not have a grille, but you do have some nice piano glossy black there, along with the front sensor. And then you can also see the sensors right there on the bumper as well. Side profile. I love the body lines on this car. I love how if you follow the front, you see that chrome there. Follow it all the way along the sides, follow it up, and then you can follow it into the back lights, and then you just have that nice finished design back there. I love the haunch on this car. This car does have nice wide hips on it right here. Very nice, very distinguishable, very cool. Here's the back of the vehicle. So again, EV6, full-fledged electrical vehicle, no gas cap, but you do have the charging port. So the charging port is right here on the right hand side. So as long as the car is unlocked, you just press right there and then it should open. There we go. So it does have AC charging, and it has DC charging, DC fast charging, and this little rubber guy right here comes right out. That way you can plug in your DC fast charger right there. Close the door right there. You can also close it on the inside as well, on the panel on the left, right next to the steering wheel. Super cool. You have the automatic lift gate on this vehicle, so it does lift up automatically, and you have a very large trunk area here. I am an owner. I do own an EV6, and we actually travel for softball, and my daughter's bag and cooler and our overnight bags and everything fits very well in the back of this vehicle all at once, with her bag and everything. So definitely a lot of room if you're traveling. Here's the mats, not installed yet, but this does come with carpeted floor mats, and then you have the carpeted cargo tray, and then you also, this one here comes with the rubber cargo tray underneath. Pretty cool. Now you do not have a lot of cubby room underneath, so there's really not much down here, but you do have the tire mobility kit, and then you do have the adapter. That adapter right there can plug into your charger right here, and then you can power other items, you can power other things. So it basically becomes a 120 volt, 110 volt for your other items if you want to power them. So it's actually pretty neat, pretty convenient. I've used it once and I got a lot of compliments on it. A lot of people were amazed that it could do that. You do have your panels here. Those panels will drop your rear seats for a near flat experience. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this one, pull that guy. It goes down what I like to call near flat. You have child anchor locks in all the back seats right here, so you can technically have 3 small child seats back there. And then there's Tons of accessories you could put in this car. You could put the cargo tray cover right there. You have the little net you can put back here, all that good stuff. All right, pretty easy to close here. I'm gonna get out of the sun. You just got a button right there, press in, it goes right down, nice and smooth. It also has the feature where if you stand next to the vehicle, it will auto lift the trunk on certain models. So definitely a nice feature if you get the GT line. Nice spoiler on the back. I really do enjoy this spoiler. Just it's distinctive. You kind of know it's an EV6 when you see it. Nothing else really has it that I'm aware of. And then underneath down there, if you can see, you have little lights for at night. So you have little lights that pop up right under there. So pretty neat. You do have that glossy piano black come up around the wheel wells here on the all-wheel drive Wind edition, and then you have the tires, very distinctive there on the all-wheel drive. So these are the EV tires. They are designed for EV vehicles right there, you can see. So that way the car's a little heavier, so you don't get as much wear and tear as you would on a regular tire because of the weight of the car. So not too bad there. These are 19-inch tires, and you do have the option for 20-inch tires on the GT line, but on the Wind they do come with the 19-inch. So this car is locked, you could tell because the mirror is down, but if I unlock the car, the mirror unfolds automatically. The door handles here, there's a couple ways. I like to just put my thumb and finger like an L and just go like that, and then it just opens. On the inside, you have plenty of room in here. So you have USB chargers on your seats for your second row passengers. You have your map holders there for your second row passengers, or if you just want to carry things back there. You have your rear climate, which is on the pillar right here. Pretty nifty, and you can open and close that. And then down here at the bottom, there's nothing. So nothing there to disturb you because your USB ports are up here, and then your climate is on the pillar. Let me give you a nice shot of the interior in the front. Like I said, I really do enjoy this car. I love the back headrest here as well. You have a little, it's Kia's new design. You can hang a garment back here. You can hang a jacket. Very, very easy. You have your little handles here, which also has the little nub for a hanger, but you do have your handles right there. And then you do have your lights for your rear passengers as well. Really roomy back here. You may or may not know this, but the EV6 has the same wheelbase as the Kia Telluride. So it is as long. I don't know if you can see it there in the distance, way in the distance, but I don't know if you can tell, but it has the same exact wheelbase as the Kia Telluride. So that makes this vehicle very, very roomy, being the fact that it's a 5-seater and not a 7 or 8-seater. But that wheelbase is just as wide, has the same length, same dimensions as the Kia Telluride. Pretty cool. Okay, now my favorite part is the interior cabin. So I love the interior cabin on this car. Again, we're just going to open the handles, pop in. Right away on the side here, you have your child locks right there for window and door, window controls, lock and unlock, and then you have your mirror controls. You have memory seating in this model too right there, and then you also have the Meridian sound. So Meridian sound is built for clarity, and if you're listening to music with a lot of instruments, you can really hear the different sounds of those instruments. It is really cool. Coming down here, you do have the power controls for your driver's side, and then if I'm going to get in the car, get out of the wind, turn the car on, you have your big button right there. All you do is put your foot on the brake, press that button, and then you're going to see the car kind of come to life. All right. As you can see, I have the air conditioning going. Turn that down just a scotch, that way I'm not going to roast to death, but you can still hear me. So starting from the left to the right, you have your illumination button right there. You have your rear hatch opener right there. You can open the gas cap, well, the charging cap right there. electronic parking brake, and then your traction control. There really should be not a need to take the traction control off on everyday driving, so you should always keep that on. But trust me, if you take that off and you're in sport mode, you can do some really cool things with this car. Coming up to the center display. Now this display here looks like one big piece of glass, but it is not. It is actually two displays, and the brake and the steering wheel right here kind of hides the brake right there, what separates the two screens. But on this screen you can see, this is what I like to call my main screen, you can see miles per hour to the left. You can see how your state of charge to the right. So you have 244 miles state of charge on this, and it's charged at 91%. So you can go 224 miles under certain conditions. You have your kilowatt hour meter right down there, and then you have your miles on the car right there, and then you have your menu, I guess you can say, up there. So as you can see, it is in park, but if I press this little button here with the two pictures on it, I can manipulate that going left to right. So going back to here, what I like to call my main screen, you can use the toggle switch right there. If you toggle it down, you can go into your attention level. Gonna go over one more. So there's your accumulated info. So you can do your trip, or you can do your after recharging, or you can do your lifetime of the car. So you can tells you exactly what to do there. If you want to erase it, you just press and hold, and then you can reset your info. Going one more over, you have your compass, and one more over, you have your power distribution. So you can see the battery there in the center with the two motors being represented by the two orbs, and then you have your wheels, and then you have the power to the tires to the offset of each wheel. So I like to use this when it's raining outside or when it's snowing. I've had both conditions, and you can kind of see your power distribution. You can also see the regenerative braking. So the regenerative braking is when the electromagnetic field in the motor, well, with your combination with your wheels, sends energy that should be expelled, but it ends up sending energy back into the battery to capture that energy to put back into your travel time. So a little complicated there. Maybe I didn't explain it exactly right, but that is the gist of it. So basically, when you use regenerative braking, you are not actually using your physical brakes. You're basically manipulating a magnetic field that slows down your vehicle and then sends that energy back into the braking system, which gives this car, its efficiency, or a lot of its efficiency. And you can see that represented down there by your regenerative braking level. So you have level 1, level 2, level 3, auto, and then you have I-pedal driving. When I'm on the highway, personally, I like to stay in level 2 or level 3. And then when I'm in the city, I like to do the I-pedal. I-pedal to me is pretty fun. You basically drive this car like a golf cart. All you do is take your foot on and off the accelerator, and that is how you start and roll to a stop in the vehicle. And then it captures that energy. Right here is your energy meter. So anything above that line is energy that the car is expelling and using. Anything below that line is going to be your regeneration, which is kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and toggle this back to that screen, which is my favorite screen. Coming back down here, you have your cruise control. Kind of hard to illustrate when you are driving, because right there it tells you smart cruise control conditions are not met. And then you have your adaptive cruise control. So that's where you could set car lengths. So if you want to set it to 4 car lengths, if that car is 4 car lengths ahead of you, if it does 100, you will do 100. If it does 5 miles an hour, you will do 5 miles an hour. So adaptive cruise control. Moving right down is you have your drive mode button right here. Drive mode is pretty interesting. Let's see. We were actually in normal, but you do have eco. So notice your miles you can travel here. So on eco you have 251, on normal you have 244, and then you go down to sport, you have 236. Now sport is insanely fun. Like this car really does get up and go in sport mode. I mean, it feels light as a feather. It is a great vehicle to drive in sport mode. I highly recommend it. When I'm by myself, I like to be in sport mode, just because my wife doesn't typically like the speed there. But when it's a family vehicle, I like to go in eco mode. You're gonna get the most bang for your buck. When you're in eco mode or normal mode, you're not using both motors at the same time in most instances. So in eco mode, you're really only using one motor. That's why your miles to go changes. Oh, we just saw it change right there, which is kind of cool. Now, other things that can affect your range is your climate. So down here, I have it on level 2, but watch what happens when I increase it. So there's level 3, there's level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, and that is our max. So you can definitely see how increasing that climate can change your miles till empty there. Personally, I think the best thing to do is to have your climate, set it at what you like, between 62 and 72. You can see you're not really changing much, you're not really losing much. And then if you're by yourself, driver only, and then AC. If it's not that hot outside, you can get away with no AC, and then using air conditioned seats, you'll get that same effect. And look what it does to your range. 275 miles to go. So definitely you can mix and match this to your preference. If you're going to be charging your car all the time because you have a home charger, you have a charger at work, dude, the world's your oyster. Do whatever you want. Drive it in sport mode all day with the air condition blowing like you wouldn't believe, and you're not going to have a problem. If you're a little bit going to be more conservative, or you think you're only going to charge it once a week or once every couple of weeks, and your chargings is going to be few and far between, then obviously you want to find the right combination that's best for you. Again, driver only, no AC, air conditioned seats. Personally, I think that's the best combo. It really works well for me here in Colorado. It does get hot, and it's a hot one today. And when I went to lunch, that's kind of the combination I had. Actually, I have it a little lower because I like it cold. I had about 67 with air conditioned seats, driver only, no AC. And then turn the AC on, 252 versus 275. So you could definitely see again how that works. Other side of the steering wheel, you have your different drive modes. Your different modes. So mode, that little guy right there, you can make that do a couple of things. So you can make that the mode for your music. You can make that going to your navigation. That button is a customizable button. This button here will activate the virtual assistant or your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. And then you have your answer a call, and then this star button. This star button is interesting because watch, if I press that star button, it is going to take me to a customizable menu where you can make that star button quiet mode, cancel route, reroute, voice memo, privacy mode, change hands-free calling device, or reject call. Now, I'm kind of old school, so reject call is kind of what I want that to be, because it is right next to accept call. So why would that not be a reject call? But you can change that to whatever you want. Well, almost to whatever you want. I always say little house takes you home, little arrow takes you back. But what I want to do is go to this custom button that's a star. That is going to be this button right here. If you press that, you're going to take that again back to the customizable button. And what I like there, you have your options. You can have Wi-Fi hotspot, HD radio data, quiet mode, phone projection, phone, Bluetooth, home, and EV. I like EV because let me show you why. So when you go to EV, I'm going to go back out of that. EV is basically this screen here. If you press that, it's going to take you to this. Now, this screen here to me is the most important screen in the car. It tells you a lot of information. It tells you again with climate on, without climate, what your range can be. It tells you your battery state of charge. But this little section right here, that little guy, if you press it, it'll tell you what EV charging stations are around you. And you can change that to distance, or you can change that to name. I think distance is the most useful, so we're going to keep it on distance. So you have DC, DC, DC plus. So DC plus is obviously your faster charging stations. DC charging stations are your second fastest charging stations. Then you have your level 2, level 1 charging stations, which are AC charging stations. So what I like about this screen, so let's take Sam's Club for example. Right here it tells me it's a DC plus, it's 1.4 miles away. You click on it, it tells you there on your corner you can set that as a destination, or if you click this little arrow, this little icon right there, it tells you information on it. What does it have? It has 4 ultra fast chargings, 3 DC fast chargers, and then it has the payment type, which is charge. So it's not free. There are a lot of free charging. Alright guys, sorry about the break on that. Phone overheated. So let's try and get through this quickly before it does it again. So I don't know where it cut off, but if it cut off right here, as explained, the DC fast chargers. So you can see DC fast charger, Ultra Charger 4. There's 3 DC fast chargers there, and then payment method is charge. So you know that you're going to be spending some money there. Also, you can set it as a destination from this screen as well. So you definitely have multiple places where you can set that charger as a destination. But let's go down here to one of these AC ones. So again, DC is going to be your fastest. It's the one that's probably going to charge you the money to use. But if you go to one of these here, it will tell you, click the little I right there, payment method free. In my town, there are plenty of free ones around here. They're typically level 2 chargers, so they're not going to charge the fastest. You could probably charge this car within 6 to 8 hours, give or take, depending. Not all level 2 fast chargers are created equally, but you never know if you're going to need one for just a couple of miles. You can always get a nice little energy top off. What I like about it is when you're also traveling, let's say you're going 100 miles away, 200 miles away, you can click near destination. It'll show you all the chargers near your destination. That way you know where to fill up. Just convenience. Alright, little arrow takes you back, but again, I like that screen there with the little button. I like that star to be that screen. You also have your little arrow here to open up your tri-screen. So personally, I usually have it on my radio, and then I have the energy there. But you can manipulate this up and down, and you can have it be, pretty much what you want, entertainment-wise. Coming down here, you have your emergency flashers. But let's show you this. This is Kia's new touchscreen display here. Now this piece of glass, I don't know if you've noticed so far, but I can change it from radio to climate depending upon what I'm into. Now I've watched other YouTube videos, and a lot of people have complained that this is their least favorite part about the car. I actually like this part the most. I do think that it is very, very intuitive. I love how futuristic it feels, and the fact that it's multi-purpose. Like these knobs here are your tuner and your volume, but when you switch to climate, it is your dual climate control knobs. Now you're either a climate person or you're a radio person. Very rarely are people one or the other at the same exact time. So let's say you, like me, I'm a radio guy, so I usually play my music. So this is my favorite screen here. But I do like to change the climate because I'm in a very weird place where it gets hot, it gets cold. Colorado's unpredictable where I'm at. If you press and hold that button, it's going to give you the option if you want to default infotainment or climate. I'm going to say let's default infotainment. So what that does is when I have my hand here, because I usually rest my hand right here and I just switch the tracks, I know you can do it here as well by switching your tracks and your volume. I actually do just like it here because I could just hit it with my finger. I don't know, that's just personal preference. But let's say I need to change the climate. So boom, I'm going to change the climate. I'm going to take this down a notch, take it down to level 4, wait about 7-10 seconds, and boom, defaults right back to my radio. So I'm not going to be fumbling around with this thing while I'm driving. As long as I got this going on right here and I change what I need to change, I can just take my hand off of it. 7 to 10 seconds later, it will default back. So to me, people who complain about that, yeah, I get it. It may not be for everybody, but I think it's very well engineered, very well designed. You have your air-conditioned seats, your heated seats, heated steering wheel for driver and passenger. Again, you have your on knob and off knob. Then you have your gear shift. I'm kind of in the sun, so I don't know if you can really see it. But you go ahead and you can switch it to reverse. When you do, you have this really nice backup camera with guidance when you tilt the steering wheel. And then you also have the different views that you can change. You could change it to a tow view if needed. Set it in a neutral or drive. So, one thing I want to point out. What am I in? I'm in drive, right? Yep. So let's do this. Taking a look here at my side view mirror, I'm going to throw it in reverse again. Notice how it tilts down. Okay. The wind all-wheel drives Wind all-wheel drive with tech packages, GT lines, I know those three do that for sure. Now, if you do have one of these cars and your mirrors do not tilt down, it's because of this button down here. You have to make sure that you are either tilted to the left or tilted to the right. You cannot be dead center, because if you are dead center and you go to put this car in reverse, those mirrors are not going to tilt down. You have to press this button to the left, notice how they tilt, or to the right. I've gotten a couple of questions about that with cars that I've sold already, and I've seen those on a couple of videos where people are like, why don't my mirrors tilt down? That is why. Just want to point that out. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this back into park by pressing the center button there. You do have your parking camera, so if you press that, your camera activates right there. Then you also do have your forward parking sensors as well. In the Tech Package Edition and in the GT line, when you press and hold that, that activates the self-parking as well, but not in this model. Wireless phone charger here, very big cubby space there. Pretty well equipped in this vehicle. I love the room in this car. This head unit here is made up of recycled plastics. I think like 96+% of this car is made up of some sort of recycled material, recycled plastics. I really do love that. I'm not exactly an environmental guy, but it's kind of cool knowing that it's not sitting in a landfill somewhere. Right here underneath the mirror there, you do have your Homelink Mirror. This model here has those buttons you can press for garages, gated communities, things like that. You have your swipe lights, which I like. You can also just press them, but where's the fun in that, right? You gotta swipe them, makes it cool. And then you also have your vanity mirrors for driver and passenger, along with the lights above them as well. Man, this video is already approaching 30 minutes or so, so let me see what we can do. So I'll go ahead and put my seatbelt on. Hopefully the climate doesn't kick this out. Let me just turn the air conditioner on a little bit more. Let me just adjust my seat. And I'm going to show you just a couple of things here. I'm going to put it in drive, move this along a little bit. Let me show you the regenerative braking paddle. So again, it's these paddles up here. If I press it, I can go level 1, level 3, max I pedal. So again, that's me just taking my foot off the accelerator and I stop. So I'm going to give it some gas and then I stop. You see the little blue line kicking in down there saying that I'm accelerating and that energy is going back into the unit there. So let me just show you a couple of things. I'm just going to drive this guy just around the parking lot. We don't have a lot of cars, so our parking lot's pretty empty, but I want to show you that screen. So you can see your miles per hour on the left there. You see how that blue line on the right, that's my power indicator. It's showing you how much power I'm using. Let me just make sure I clear this, make sure no one's coming out of service. No. Okay. Alright, so give it a little bit of gas. You can see the energy. Then when I take my foot off, you can see it go into regen. So ideally, if you can regen a lot, you can save time and you can save energy at the filling up your car with electricity. I have another video on my channel where I go to Cripple Creek, Colorado, and when I come home, it's 87 miles away from my house, but because it's down mountain, I only used I think 40 or 42 miles out of energy. So I mean, it's phenomenal when it comes to that way. Going up the mountain was a little bit of a different story, but I mean, that's kind of just the gist of regenerative braking. I mean, if you use it effectively, you can really get the life out of this battery. I mean, it has a 274 miles per till empty kind of range on an all-wheel drive wind, but I've seen them 310, I've seen them 315. It just depends upon how you use it, and the car will learn with you. I mean, there's a lot of features in this car that we haven't even gone over. This is just kind of the basics. I mean, I can spend another probably 45 minutes showing you a bunch of cool features like winter mode and utility mode and all kinds of different modes, but I'm going to bring this video to an end here. So if you do like what you see, like and subscribe. I do try and do videos on our new stuff at least once a week. It's been averaging a little bit more just because of that. We don't have any cars, just because we don't have any cars. I wish I could do more videos, but I really can't. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this guy in park. We're going to turn the car off by pressing this button here, and then watch what happens when I open the door. Check rear seats for passengers and belongings. So they've included that item here in the Wind all-wheel drive version as well. So again, this is Vince from Spradley Kia in Pueblo, Colorado. Again, just want to show you the 2022 EV6. If you made it this far, thank you for watching the whole video. And again, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys down at the dealerships. Thanks a bunch. Oh, there's a white one.